Pregame.com.
Preseason football Sunday night action. We've got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to play the Denver Broncos. VR, this is my free play. I'm looking at the under in this game, and this is a situation, we talked about it earlier, a lot of movement on totals this week. They've all been pumped up. Vegas brought them out higher, and the public's continued to bet them higher. This is dress rehearsal week, and we're looking at two of the better defenses in all of football. I think this number's too high. I think we're going to see an under in this ball game.
Well, it's obvious that the odds makers had no choice but to bring the numbers out a little higher, because we all know week 3 you expect more scoring, but there's also a knee-jerk reaction from what happened so far in the preseason with a lot of high scoring. And what's the market done right away? They've been betting the over on these totals.
They're looking at it. They think it's free money. One of the other things that I look at, and you look at coaching philosophies, Jim Harbaugh, this is only his second season, with San Francisco, but you saw the attitude change with the Niners last year. They're such more intense, their defense, hard-hitting. That comes directly from their coach's personality. Jim Harbaugh is a fiery guy. When he was a quarterback, he had that mentality. Intensity in preseason leads to unders to me. If you're out there loose and lackadaisical, teams are going to, especially when you're on the second units, you're going to have teams going down the field and scoring. We haven't seen that with San Francisco. They are focused. And in his history, it's short, only a 6-game sample size, but 5 of his 6 games so far preseason that he's coached, 5 of them have gone under the total.
And not surprising, because San Francisco did it with defense last year. They didn't do it with offense. And you know that this week they've put a little emphasis in the defense, because you look at that team last week, what did they do? They gave up 20 points. Not normal for San Fran. And also Denver, they gave up 30 points. But I disagree with you on this one, Marco.
All right, well, you're disagreeing with me. What's your main point that you like about this game?
Because although defense was a focus, offense was even more of a goal for them this week for both teams. San Fran scored 9 points last week. Denver scored 10 points last week. And you look at the Denver side, Peyton Manning has to go out there and do something. He's got 3 interceptions, not 1 touchdown. And completion percentage is good, but that's about it. So I think we're going to see some offense in this game.
Well, I agree with you with that theory. The coaches generally work on what was, the worst part of their game, if the offense wasn't scoring. But if you really look at Denver, and I didn't see San Francisco's game, so I can't comment on that. But as Denver, I've watched Peyton both games that he's played. The team has moved the ball well, and he's had 3 interceptions. A couple of them were not his fault. Receivers that went in their arm and the ball bounced up in the air and a tip pass. He's moved them up and down the field. They just didn't capitalize or turned it over and stopped the drive. He's got good stats passing and yardage-wise. And let's also look at the fact that as these are 2 established teams that were playoff teams last year and both have high expectations this year, you're not really going to take chances with your marquee players. You're not going to get Peyton Manning hurt trying to work out, the kinks, so to speak, in preseason. You know what he can do. He's shown enough in preseason that they're happy with where they're at. Alex Smith, maybe a little different story, because he's a guy you're still growing confidence with, but I don't think they're going to take any extraordinary chances to get these 2 guys hurt.
I agree there. The number 1 goal for both of these teams is to stay healthy, because they have nothing to prove as far as getting a win. But we're talking about the total here, and they need to show some offensive efficiency. You said they drove the ball well up and down the field, but they were inefficient, obviously, in getting into the end zone. Whether it was red zone offense or regardless of what it was, they weren't able to score points. I think that's a concern when this is the dress rehearsal. On the San Fran side, they relied too much on the defense last year. We've heard out of camp that Alex Smith has stepped up. He put extra time in with his receivers before camp even opened. So the offense wants to show the defense that, you know what, we're going to carry you this season. So I think both teams are going to try to put up some points.
All right, VR. It's not a best bet. It's my regular play. But I'm taking the game under the total. I really believe there is value with this over-under. You have two of the best defenses in all of football. This is dress rehearsal week. They're going to go deeper with the starters. That means the first-string defense is going to be there as well. I think this total will be somewhere around 37 at most when they finish the game. I'm taking under. That is going to wrap it up for this week for the TV plays. We'll be back next week. We're going to take a look at all of the final week of preseason action, and we'll actually be talking about some college football next week as well. So stay tuned all week long here on pregame.tv.